We begin tonight with a not guilty plea from a Point Loma man who police say shot 3 people, including his elderly mother. Good evening and thanks so much for joining us. I'm Marcella Lee.
And I'm Kirsten Holmes, in tonight for Carlo Cicchetto. 60-year-old William Bushy was arraigned on 2 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder. CBS 8 was inside the courtroom when the alleged shooter entered his plea.
Any and all allegations.
That's 60-year-old William Bushy's public defender entering his not guilty plea in San Diego Superior Court. Prosecutors say on Wednesday, August 21st, they were called to Bushy's home that he shared with his 85-year-old mother on Zola Street in Point Loma around 4 p.m. Police say when they got there, they found Bushy in the front of the house with a shotgun nearby. San Diego police tell CBS 8 this isn't the first time they were called to the Bushy home on Zola Drive. Police were called to the home on August 16th and August 19th, just days before the shooting. CBS 8 was on the scene when a neighbor, visibly distraught by the shooting, said,
"There were cops here, and they walked out and said they couldn't do anything. She brought guns that were in the house to our house so that he wouldn't shoot them."
CBS 8 obtained the criminal complaint against Bushy. It identifies the 60-year-old woman who was shot and killed by Bushy as Lori Robinson. The 30-year-old man who was killed is Brett Robinson. Neighbors say Lori Robinson is Bushy's sister. Bushy's mother is expected to survive.
We also did submit a criminal protective order, Your Honor. There were 3 victims in this case. One of them is the 85-year-old mother of the defendant who survived this shooting, and there's a criminal protective order in the file for her.
He must stay 100 yards away from June Bushy. He must have no contact with that person by any means, and that includes telephone, mail, email, text message, social media. This defendant must not use another person.
Police haven't released a possible motive for the shooting that left 2 dead and Bushy's mom hurt. The judge ordered Bushy be held without bail. His next court date is December 9th for a readiness hearing, and his preliminary hearing is set for February 4th.
We're following breaking news right now. You can see here from a live look from Chopper 8, crews are responding to a brush fire. Our signal going in and out because it's quite far. This is in the Proctor Valley area near Proctor Valley Road. We're told that this fire is burning at 10 acres. Trying to see here if we can get that Chopper shot back up. It's a moderate rate of spread. Right now, there's no threat to buildings. And it's just burning grass and brush. We'll continue to follow it. Meantime, another fire that broke out in Torrey Pines State Park spent plumes of smoke into the air, visible for hours today. First responders learned of the fire at around 2:30 this afternoon. It started just off Torrey Pines Road. Crews were quickly able to stop the forward spread of the fire and protect nearby structures. There is now no more fire threat, but smoke may still be lingering in that area. We don't know yet what prompted this fire. Mandatory overtime is ending for San Diego County deputies. The move comes as the Sheriff's Department announces it has finally hired enough deputies to meet minimum staffing requirements. The shortage started during the COVID-19 pandemic.
The mandatory overtime that's been required of our staff has enabled us to staff positions that answer calls for service, keep our communities and our jails safe, and staff the courthouses. This hasn't come without sacrifice. That sacrifice has come from all of our staff who've taken time away from their families to work shifts that they would not have otherwise had to work.
For now, overtime work will still continue, but it will not be required for the majority of staff. Still, dispatchers and call takers are working involuntary overtime. Hiring is still continuing for the entire department. The city of San Diego says the damaged Ocean Beach Pier will not reopen. Instead, the city will focus on creating a long-term replacement. The pier has been closed since it was hit by high surf last October. Due to the cost and the timeline, the city decided that repairing the pier isn't feasible. The city hopes to present a final design for a new pier this fall. If the project receives proper permitting and funding, officials say construction of a new pier would take place simultaneously.
The city of, the city of San Diego wants to know how you feel about your trash pickup. City leaders are considering a plan to start charging single-family homeowners for trash services. It's something that hasn't been done for about 100 years. Fees were initially estimated to be between $23 and $29 a month. Right now, nothing has been set in stone, but one thing is being considered is replacing old trash containers with new ones.
Population of containers, and so we're looking at whether should a potential new fee be created by City Council, whether the city would roll out new containers to replace those that have aged.
There will be a series of public meetings on the matter, including a virtual one tomorrow morning. There are also 2 in-person meetings scheduled for later this month. We have those details posted on CBS8.com. Just click on this story. Ask anyone about San Diego's bike lanes, and you're going to get some pretty strong opinions on both sides. Well, now the city of San Diego wants to hear from you. CBS 8's Brian White has details on a new survey.
The city of San Diego has been busy adding bike lanes, trying to make it easier and safer to get around town on a bicycle. But now they want our feedback to see what's working and what's not.
We want it to be safe. We want it to be fun. We want it to be equitable. We want everyone to be able to move around San Diego as they need.
For the first time since 2013, the city's undertaking a master plan update for their bike lane network, and they want to hear from you.
We want to hear from everyone, whether you cycle a lot, whether you only use it a little bit, or even if you're just a little cycling curious.
Heather Werner is interim director for the city's Sustainability and Mobility Department. She says the survey will help them prioritize future projects.
We definitely want to know if you're riding a bike, whether it's one quick trip to the grocery store or you're using it for your whole commute. That tells us a lot about what we're seeing.
But not everyone's a fan. In some cases, new bike lanes have reduced the amount of street parking.
It's harder and harder every year to keep our businesses open, and when there's no parking, customers stop coming. There's 14 businesses on our block, and as you can see, there's actually only 5 parking spaces.
Carmen Cooley-Graham is director of the J.A. Cooley Museum on Park Boulevard. She's been a critic of these bike lanes from the start.
The real heartbreaking thing is the bike lanes aren't being used, and it's actually creating more of an unsafe environment in the neighborhood. We've had a couple pedestrians almost get hit in the bike lanes walking from their cars to the sidewalk.
Over the past 10 years, the city has spent around $50 million on bike lane projects, and Council President Sean Elo Rivera, who bikes to work every day, says it's worth it.
This is not about forcing people to stop driving, forcing people onto a bike. This is about expanding options. It's about the freedom to choose how you want to get around in the city that you live in. Gas is expensive, cars are expensive, insurance is expensive, and letting folks have the option to get around in a more affordable way, that's a fantastic thing.
You have until September 10th to take the survey at sandiego.gov/BMPU. They're going to use this feedback to create a draft plan by the end of next year. In San Diego, Brian White, CBS 8.
Thanks, Brian. New tonight, the Sierra Club has filed a lawsuit challenging the county's approval of a large warehouse project in Otay Mesa. The 253-acre Otay Majestic site would be developed about 2 miles north of the Otay Mesa port of entry. The Sierra Club says the project would harm critically endangered wetlands and species in the area. It also says air quality would be worse with pollution from the warehouse and emissions from trucks.
Should we continue to tolerate impacts to our global climate? Why should we continue to allow impacts to critically endangered species? This is some of the last best habitat in San Diego. And why should a kid with asthma in the South Bay be forced to breathe more polluted air just so a developer can make a buck?
The project was approved just last month. The county told us it cannot comment on pending litigation.
The Uptown Community Planning Group is speaking out after its recent election went awry. Residents of Uptown, which includes Hillcrest and surrounding neighborhoods, were supposed to vote for the new members to join the group, but its new voting software experienced glitches. That left some residents waiting outside for hours to vote, while others who tried voting virtually just could not. Today, the chair from the Electoral Committee tells us they now have a new solution.
What we will do is all of the votes that have been cast are safe. They will be counted. They have been counted. For those who have not yet voted, if you were in the system, we will load your votes into a new copy of the election. For those who register from now until it closes, we will add you into the system and send you ballots.
The Uptown Planning Group says a second in-person election event would be scheduled, but that date hasn't been released yet.
If you have a California driver's license, you can now add a digital version of it to your Google Wallet. The state launched the pilot program last year. You can use these new options to present your ID at select businesses, TSA checkpoints, and specific apps. But you will still need your physical license when you drive. A date for an Apple Wallet launch has not been announced just yet. More than 500,000 Californians have signed up for this program so far. When NASA says it will have a decision on when 2 astronauts stuck in space can return home, that's still ahead.
Plus, we're hearing from a mom whose son's body was left unidentified in a county morgue for months. How she's hoping her story will lead to change.
And what researchers are learning about a rare sea creature found off the coast of San Diego.
We had lots of sunshine in the forecast for today. We're starting to see some of that marine layer rolling right back in from our Mount Soledad camp. It will deepen and spread, go all the way inland, so spreading across inland valleys. Also talking about some cooler temperatures this weekend and a gradual warm up by next week. Details ahead.